Welcome back to the Shattered Truth podcast. What's up, King Marcus?
What's going on, brother?
What's good, man? We back, bro. We back
Yes,
once.
sir. You bet.
Man, bro, I took a long break, and I know you took a break. You got a lot of things going on your side of the
Yeah.
world. I got things going on my side of the world too, as well. But man, everything's all good, man. We back again
Yeah.
on the Shattered Truth Show. Y'all make sure y'all check out King Marcus podcast, the Golden Gates. You know what I'm saying? Them gates of gold, they streaking gold,
Yeah.
y'all.
Golden
Make sure
Kingdom,
y'all
boy.
check the
Yeah.
Golden
So,
Kingdom. Check it out, man. We got it going on, man. We expanding, This is what we
yeah, for
do.
sure. We got to. Yeah, my
Yeah, man.
my my podcast is out right now, y'all. Y'all can go check it out. It's Golden Kingdom. What
Golden
I'm what
Kingdom.
I'm gonna be doing, I'm gonna just be spreading my teachings because I know a lot of stuff, and I never really. I'm a Baptist at a young age, and I never really thought about giving teachings.
Very young. Man, yo,
And
you can teach people like so many things, bro, that you can share knowledge, man. It's amazing, man. For such
yeah,
an age like you, man, you're advanced over people your age, man. You so far ahead. Like
right.
you can be the leader to your group, your age group. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
right,
You have
right.
a voice. We here to speak the truth on the Shattered Truth Show and the King Marcus Golden Kingdom as well.
Yes, sir, man. That's why I started the podcast, just to teach people a lot of things that they may not know because, we are in the final days.
Yes,
Once
sir.
Judgment Day comes, a lot of people are going to need knowledge. A lot of people are going to need to look towards God. And,
Yes.
as long as we got that good group that's looking towards God, people being wise, you know, they'll be instead of be drowning in the lakes of fire, they'll be standing with God.
That's right. Exactly. Exactly right, man. So let's get into this topic, mate. But what's things is going on around the world before we get into this
Mhm.
topic, man. You see all the craziness going on in the world right now. Like, what do you think about that?
Yes, there's a lot more going on than it previously like started. Like there's a lot more things going on, especially like ever since we did the Olympic episode, it's just a lot, man. It's been a lot of things going on. I had been watching wrestling John Cena on his bull again. Uh it's just crazy to um just see a lot of these things happening, just a lot of just ritualistic excuse my
Right, right,
language, but
right.
ritualistic crap going on
Yeah,
nowadays that
yeah, yeah, for sure.
yeah, it's just crazy to me, especially in sports, man. And I'm gonna tell you, I love sports. I play sports
Yeah,
for a living. I'm an athlete.
yeah, me too. Yeah, man, I was too when I was in school. I was a ball player. JV varsity. I was hooping it up. I was real nice. AAU camp. Going to different camps, seeing different talent, going against different talent and meeting different
Yeah,
coaches. You know how it is,
yeah.
man, when you're in the sports
Yeah, that's
world.
the best. That's the best thing about sports. And another thing about sports, it's basically like therapy, man. That's why I love it because it just it helps you out like emotionally. Like it helps you like speak your mind out. Like anything you
Yeah,
got like on your mind. Like if you got like a coach, if you got teammates, if
yeah,
you got anything on your mind, you're like having a bad day. You would just basically like just be speaking like whatever words you got going on, and then your teammates or whoever's willing to help you out, like actually like real people who are actually willing to help, they'll be there for you. And that can turn a bad day into a good day. And, man, you could be winning championships over that. That's why I love sports because it's not only, based off of skill, it's also like therapy.
right. It's like it helps you along the way when you're stressed out. That's a stress reliever. You can blow off steam. You can do so many things with it. With
Yeah.
sports. And
And the
that's the
thing
biggest, most
another
important
thing
thing about
about
it. Mhm.
Another thing about, especially on this topic, influencers, there's a lot
Yeah,
of, famous people who play sports, like a lot of athletes that'll be
yeah.
like, oh, I love this sport. I've been playing this sport since I was a kid. I've been
But
watching this
here's
sport since I was a kid. And
yeah,
I've
right.
been willing to. reach to the top, win championships and win rings and trophies. But one thing that they miss is like the therapy part about sports, and
Hmm.
another thing on how they, especially when they throw up signs, they're not
Right, right.
realizing like what they're
What they
throwing up. You
mean.
feel what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
it's a code signs, your hand gestures, they throw up these 666 symbolisms and stuff like that. People don't
Yeah,
understand what a goat is, that's a Baphomet. We talked about that on a lot of episodes, and we continue to talk about it because it needs to be talked about every single day so it can go engraved in people's minds, engrave in them, what I'm saying? So they remember like, oh yeah, Shadow Troop, he mentioned the goat, what the goat mean, the Baphomet, the Freemason, they represent that, and all the other secret societies, they all in for the agenda too as well. You
right.
know, one one thing about influencers, man, we identify influencers in your niche or area of interest, you know what I'm saying? So or look for
Right.
engagement metrics, likes, comments, and shares, anything
Right.
that can influence people, draw them in, but it's gotta be
Yeah.
positive influence.
Yeah, it
At,
can't be negativity
yeah,
because one
right,
thing about energy that my mom taught used to teach me was that energy, it spreads like wildfire. So when you're in a good mood, whether you're in a bad mood or when you're in an
right,
angry mood, you're spreading
yeah,
that energy and reflecting it on towards other people. So like
right,
if you're let's say for a ritual, for example, if you're
mm,
doing a ritual and you're the one speaking like the words and you've got other people that are not even speaking and they're just there to listen, you're not the only one that's going to get hurt. Other people could get hurt as well. So
right,
it's
like
it's
that
more of a
feelings,
like, yeah,
mm,
yeah, it's that feeling. So it's like when you're giving off when you're like giving off feeling, people are feeding off of your energy. So
mm,
if I'm having a positive day and somebody else is having a bad day, you know, that clashes. And when you got somebody, like I said, with therapy, when you got somebody that's
mm,
there helping you out, somebody that's helping you through pain or whatever you're going through, you're
right,
feeding off of their energy. And the more you feed off their
right.
energy, the more energy you're gonna the more positive of that energy you're gonna get.
And you notice like we had a lot of influencers back in the day and present, and
Yeah.
they really let people down. You know what I'm saying? They're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. You know what I'm saying? And that is
Hmm.
truth. They sold out. People. You can't judge a book by a cover, but you can know them by their fruit. And a person, influencer, they build grassroots online presence through engaging content such as photos, videos, and updates. You know what I'm saying? So you could be influencer on any kind of social media. You could be influencer for hire, promote products, services, known for influencer marketing. You could
Right.
you can do another type of influencer. You could be a fashion influencer, travel influencer, virtual influencer. You can involve content creators, and streamers, but are you gonna lead the people in the right direction when somebody looks up to it? Influencer, But the only influencer we need is Jesus Christ. He's the number one influencer. He protects us, he guides us. Can't no other influencer in the world can protect us but him. He can get us out of sticky situations. Jesus Christ of
Right.
Nazareth. Always people remember that. That's the most important influencer you have, no matter what nobody says. Remember that. So some influences is associated with primarily specific media apps such as TikTok, Instagram, primers or
Mm.
influencers considered internet celebrities. All kinds of influencers, man. It's like you could be what you
Yeah.
want, but always
Yeah.
have a
Right.
stay on a positive note. Always, because you gotta have a good image. A lot of these influencers got bad images. You know what I'm saying? And the Bible says you know them by their fruit. So you see the fruit,
Right.
and you be like, hold on, he ain't like I
And
thought he was.
here's the thought. Here's the thought
Yeah,
on that. Sorry to cut you off.
yeah, go
Um,
ahead.
in in a generation like the generation that we live in, that's flooded with digital voices, it's very crucial to ask who is influencing you and where are they leading you. And not
Right,
everyone with
it
a
does.
platform, deserves your attention. So
Right,
we must really anchor our hearts in the word and our minds in the truth, and
the
there
anchor
are
hearts. That's right.
influencers who and there are influencers who like lead you to the throne of God, and there are those who will drag you to the gates of destruction. And
Right.
influence, it doesn't just come from Instagram reels or TikTok followers. It comes from something called the anointing, and it's the kind of influence worth following. The kind of influence that is worth following is from
Right.
someone who's been in the secret place with God. And
Right.
Moses came down from the mountain with glory on his face and not
That's
with
right.
a brand deal. um
Right.
a real influencer of Yeshua doesn't just know the word, they live it. They
Right.
wrestle with it, and they submit
Right.
to it.
You
And
know,
if
it's a
they
pros and
can't
cons. It's
Right,
like
and if
pros and
they
cons. Yeah.
right, if they can't weep over sin, if they can't carry the cross or love their enemies, and they're just noise with a mic. You feel what I'm saying?
Right. And
It's like they
also,
blow into a mic.
yeah,
Because
you blowing
remember,
right into it. Yeah.
because remember in Matthew 6:6 it says, "But thou, when thou prayest, enter into thy closet, and thy
Right.
Father, which
That's
seeth
right.
in secret, shall reward thee openly."
Exactly. And one thing about the King Marks, you an influencer as well. Your niece and nephews look up to you when you play sports. So it's important,
Yeah,
you gotta express,
of
say
course.
you got a brand, you have to express your brand, your sub creativity, turn your passion into a profession can be exciting and fulfilling, so you get excited and you have a passion for your sport, football, tennis, you fulfilling your passion,
Yeah,
and another thing that you have too, King Mark, is you have a flexible work schedule for your creativity in your sport. You got a work schedule. That work
yeah,
schedule is training.
yeah,
So and you can like do so many things, man, and just stay on the positive side of it, because you got people are looking up to you and looking up to the Shadow Truth Show and looking up to Golden Gates King Marcus podcast. You know,
right.
we're here to give positive truth, expose content for people to understand what's really going on behind the scenes, and that's what we're here for, man. We're here for a reason, and this is what we're here for, King Marcus. Yeah, man. Like I said, it's challenges becoming an influencer. It's so many challenges becoming one.
Right.
You can like you can have a lack of job security or benefits. It's so many things you can do. Social media influencing world provides no guarantee for long term success. There's no guarantee of being an influencer. Some people can follow us for a couple months and then find another influencer that's probably
Yeah.
sound better than us. What I'm saying? It's this is how the world works. The world works in mysterious ways.
Yeah, it's like, think of it like, because I watched a segment that John Cena did, and it intrigued me in what he said. And I don't like John Cena because of how he is now, but something that
Mm,
really intrigued me, which he said, I think it was, he said something like, you know, I don't have to wrestle. I just have to show up and do this because, the fans, like the WWE universe, they they only cheer for people who actually have gold.
right.
They're not going to cheer for somebody who just recently lost a title, like, for example, Cody Rhodes, who recently just lost um his title at WrestleMania last year.
He's
Or
terrible. He's
I
not
should
that
say that,
good.
I should say this year.
He's a
Um
whining baby. He's not that
but
good.
honestly, I think
Uh,
he has it hard because he's been through a lot, and he's
yeah.
still like got the title from Roman Reigns. And Roman,
Oh yeah.
that boy has been
Roman Reigns a
holding that
beast.
that boy
He's a
has been
beast.
holding that gold. That wolf has been holding
Uh,
that gold for over 1,000 days.
that wolf 1,000 days. Hey, Keith Marcus, but do you think so? How long has Roman Reigns had the title? Like, how long has he been having the title, like heavyweight title?
Like,
With,
uh the title, like,
yeah, the title. How many times he had the title?
how many times has he had it? I think,
Yeah.
I don't remember. I think that was like his seventh or eighth, I think.
Okay. 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 So he's pretty much OP.
Yeah.
You hey look, did you hear, bro? Did you hear they bringing back college basketball, EA Sports, bro? They released it. they talking about they bringing it back. It's official.
Yeah,
College
I heard.
basketball is back. I'm just waiting for them to make it. So yeah, bro, I'm buying this. I'm ordering it soon as they say yeah, it's ready. I'm
Yeah,
pre-ordering that jank, bro.
that
GTA. I'm
boy. That yeah.
between
That
GTA and college hoops. I'm playing both, bro.
honestly, college basketball and another football game and some other Call of Duty game might come out before GTA. I'm not gonna lie.
Right, right,
All that
man.
gonna be out
They
before that
fooled
game
us,
come out.
bro. They fooled us with this one. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it's coming out this
they
year.
really full.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, they said
Man,
psych. Nope, it's coming out next year.
you got everybody riled up and hyped up, and then all of a sudden somebody just pressed the button to let all the air out of everybody,
Yeah.
like like a balloon.
Yeah.
Man, so all right, so in the sports
Yeah.
world, you
Mhm.
have the LeBrons, you have the Durants, but people, they talk negative about LeBron, but he is an influencer. People really like his
Right.
skill. And you have the negative side, of course, but you think he's a good influencer? We know the behind the scenes what he really did to get there, but I'm saying, is he a good influencer in the public eye? Like, what you think? I think he is.
Honestly,
Didn't he build that
honestly,
school in
here's
Cleveland?
the
Mm,
here's the problem with that. And
right.
I'm gonna say this is not everybody, but this is just mostly people who watch sports and is a fan of some kind of
Hey,
team for whatever
we
sport.
know P Diddy ain't no influencer. He's terrible.
Oh no,
did
100%,
they
100%
did
no.
they did they have a verdict on that yet? Is he 15 years? What's going on with that? You hear anything on that update?
Nah, I haven't heard anything yet. I've been looking over social media. I haven't heard one thing uh
Hmm.
about P. Diddy, actually. I don't even know what happened to him. I'm not gonna lie because nobody's been talking about him. People make jokes about him and nowadays because of those little memes that are going around the social media, but um
Yeah.
yeah, I haven't heard anything in particular. Like I don't know what else has happened. The last time I ever heard of him was like um something that I saw on social media where it was like he was saying something in code um that he was saying to a friend and when he was in jail, and I
Mm.
guess somebody who was like a podcaster, he spotted it out and he exposed it and it went all over the media. So
What?
yeah, I'm gonna send that to you. If I end up finding that again, I'll send that to you. But
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna check that out.
yeah, yeah, the one thing I will say, uh, especially about followers and influencers, is not
Mm.
all who claim Jesus follow him.
Right.
Like for example, if let's say if I was a basketball player, right?
Right.
Or let's say because I'm a football player mainly, but let's say if I
Mm,
was like in the NFL or playing at Wimbledon for tennis or I was in the NBA. A lot of people are
right.
going to say, the reason why I got here is because I prayed to get here. And, that
Yeah.
may be the case, but at the
Right.
same time, we still got our commandments. And not
Yeah.
a
We
lot
still
of
got a
people,
problem.
yeah,
Yes.
and not a lot of people follow all the commandments. And, I'm not perfect myself. I may believe that I broke a commandment before,
Uh,
but
we all have, man. We all
yeah,
have.
we've all broken those commandments. But the problem with that is, you know, there's people that have done way worse than us. They have
Right.
done way worse sins than just
Right.
breaking one commandment. There's people who broke all the commandments, and still to this day, because God does say will He eventually forgives us for our sins because
And
He died for our sins. But
right. And,
the problem with that is like you're saying He died for our sins, but you're still sinning. So
right.
the matter. Okay, here's the thing that I'm gonna say. I found a verse in 2 Peter, verse 2:1, or no, chapter 2, verse 1. It says, "But there were false prophets." also among the people who privily shall bring in damnable heresies. So the thing with influencers is there are influencers today who use scripture as clickbait, and they merchandise prophecy, and they market false doctrines, and they pervert grace into a license for sin. And these aren't new tricks. It's the same deception from Eden when I think he said, hath God said, the spirit of deception now the spirit of deception now wears Yeezys and shouts God is love while rejecting his
Yeezys.
commandments. And true shepherds guard the sheep, and false shepherds, they sell the sheep to the slaughter. And one thing that I'm gonna say is there's one thing that we need to ask.
Right.
And if you take anything, if anybody that's listening tonight takes anything from this one podcast, take this with you. When you go up to somebody um who's a fan of a certain like influencer, like Saquon Barkley or LeBron James, or any TikTokers, or any YouTubers like Logan Paul, or anybody that's a fan of The Rock, or any of them.
If
One
you
thing that
smell
you
what
need,
the rock is cooking.
yeah. Yeah, I know what I smell. I
So
smell I smell some ribs on that grill.
I know, right? Some barbecue spare ribs, some
Yeah.
spare ribbies.
The
But
one thing,
bro,
hold on. The,
uh,
the one thing that they need to ask is, do they elevate the Messiah, or do they elevate themselves?
right. People
Because a
tend to
real,
forget about the Messiah, you know what I'm
right,
saying?
because
And
a
just
real
focus on
follower,
themselves.
influencer decreases so that Christ increases. Because it says it in John 3:30, if you read it, and their platform is an altar. Their flame is not surrendered, and when they speak, demons flee, and not
Right.
fans follow, or
Exactly.
not many fans follow.
Right.
So, and another thing is, they don't seek applause, they seek souls. It's one thing to be known by man, it's another to be known by God. And if the power of their words doesn't come from brokenness, it's probably coming from pride. Because remember, in Galatians 1:10 it says, "For do I now persuade men or God? For if I
Right.
yet pleased men, I should
Mm,
not be the servant of Christ."
hmm. That's right.
So
That is
so
exactly
letting
right.
so letting someone influence your life is spiritual intimacy. It's a permission to shape your values, to shift your mindset, and to even redirect your purpose. So don't let smooth talk and flashy editing distract from their fruit.
Right. Don't worry about the image.
Right,
The image will be stressful.
exactly.
And one thing about being a influencer, man, you got to be consistent. You know what you do.
Right,
Unique style, voice. Consistency is key. That's for sure. Dealing with
right,
negative comments, criticism. We all go through that. You know what I'm saying? Especially in sports, you go through a negative criticism. Negative
right.
comment. Uh, the public, oh, Marcus ain't that good. You be like, whatever.
Yeah,
I'll show you on the
of
field.
course. I'm gonna tell you guys, I get that a lot. I will have a lot of people saying, "Oh, you ain't that good. If you that good, then play me."
And
They will always
negative
they will
comment.
always they will always
Yeah,
test your skill just to try to
right.
be better than you.
Right. Negative comments can be stressful for real, especially when
Because
they are hurtful to target you. You
yeah,
know what I'm saying?
and one thing I will say about that is, a lot of people test your skill. A lot of people, and
Right.
they don't even play the sport or even know what the sport is. They're gonna say a lot of things like, "Oh, um, oh, how good are you at serving? And they're not even gonna know what serving is. They just heard it off of somewhere online. They pulled that out of their butthole from somewhere that they read online, and then
Right.
they just apply it to whatever they're saying when they're
Some
speaking negatively about you. But
some social media
one thing
page.
that I've
Yeah.
had to learn over my time of playing sports is that, you can't really let that negative stuff get to you, because
Right.
that's really Satan just trying to keep you from being something that's even better than yourself. Because when you want to win championships and you want to win, uh, become like be number one on that roster, or even win a
Mhm.
ring when it comes to basketball, you really just gotta like plant yourself in that mindset where it's like, I don't care what people think about me. And think about this, if you've lost before, because I'm gonna tell you right now, I am not perfect in tennis. I've gotten my butthole whooped many times in tennis.
Right.
But
Now,
that's
Marcus.
all really, at the end of the day, that's all a learning experience. You feel me?
Right.
Because
And
failures are the most ones to succeed. Anybody
right.
that's
Exactly.
succeeding nowadays is gonna go down, because
Right.
they always take that negativity, they apply it to somebody else and think that they're better. But later on, when they fail, they're gonna look at you. They're gonna look back at you. They're gonna see that you're succeeding in life, whether you're, preaching the gospel, or whether you're winning championships in sports. It's one of the two. But whichever one it is, they're gonna see that you're doing better, and then they're gonna come back and apologize. That's how the world is nowadays, Calvin. Do you see how messed up this world is? They're gonna see that you're succeeding more than them, and then they're gonna come back and say sorry.
I mean, it's too late to say sorry.
Yeah, it's too late
You done
because
burn the bridge. The
yeah,
bridge is burnt. Like it's crispy. It's smoke. That's all it's going. Smoke and ashes.
yeah, it's like
You feel me?
you said I was never gonna get to the big leagues, and here I am. Oh, here I am in the NFL, and you're over there in the stands, just sitting and watching.
And guess what? They still running their mouth.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Dang, I knew he was special. I knew it, but I'm sorry I just talked about him so bad. Man, it's too late to say sorry.
Yeah,
Was
it's too
when you
late.
talking about Chris Brown? I'm sorry. When you talking about that, Breezy. We ain't talking about that either. But
Yeah,
what's so crazy is, man, you got to deal with the negativity,
yeah,
knowing that not everyone will like or agree with you, and it's okay, Marcus. It's okay. Shattered Truth.
right,
Focus on your followers, positive comments, and feedbacks, man. We have
right.
to, and try to learn from constructive criticism.
Yeah, and
It,
like I said,
it's
sport is
all
therapy,
learning.
Sport is
Yeah,
therapy, always look towards the ones who are willing to give you advice, because the more advice you get, that's the more that's pushing your positive side. That's pushing your mindset even more to a place where it's like, oh, okay, so I know what I have to do now. I know how I'm going to be better than myself. Now I just have to put in the work, and I
right.
just have to get in there. I have to do it, because we can't just sit back and expect just a championship trophy just to fall into our hands.
Right. You got to
Like
work
me,
hard.
my current goal right now for football is to break at least one or two records. That's my goal right now, to break a
Hard
record.
work, dedication.
To do that, we need to be dedicated, and like, yeah, that's right. We have to have
It takes time. You
hard
got to
work.
manage time.
Yeah, we have
Time
to do
is
it through.
important for
Yeah,
any job.
have to do it. Yep, have to do it through hard work and merit. It's the same thing with the job.
Especially critical for a social media influencer or a sports influencer, who can create content, engage with followers
Right,
in events, sponsorships, collaborations, all this stuff, bro. Like you can schedule, stick to it, take care of yourself and your relationships outside of your sports or work field job or your business you have. It's all dealing with influencing and negative how you handle it. You know what I'm saying?
right.
So
Uh,
that's what one
mhm.
thing's about it, man.
Yeah,
So
and
be open about your career. Be open about it.
one thing that needs to be asked is, do they bear patience, humility, and holiness? Have they
Right.
endured storms, or only sowed sunshine? And the thing with the devil is, the devil knows how to preach too. but his
Yeah, he
doctrine
does.
always detours from the cross. And a real influencer shows scars and they don't hide the pain of the process. One thing
Right. He
about
like the
and the one thing Yeah, the one thing
uh,
about being an athlete is like you're gonna I will tell you guys you are going to feel pain. I That's
right.
coming from me, a personal athlete. You're gonna feel pain of very and it's not gonna happen every day, but it's gonna happen sometimes. And
Right.
that's just something you have to get used to and endure.
Yeah, it's okay.
But and it's okay to feel pain. I've
That's
had to
right.
fight through the pain. Man, one day
Right. We all.
I'm gonna tell you, I was getting whooped so hard in tennis one day that my hand, I'm telling you, the palm of my hand, where I had to, hold the racket, I had to put like the palm of my hand, I guess, on like my like on the middle part of the grip. I had to
Right.
put it on the middle part where, like, so you know how the face, you have to
Yeah,
you
the
have to
net,
face,
like,
yeah, you have to face your racket a certain way to hit the ball.
yeah. Yeah. They must have been quicker than you, right? That's why they got an upper hand on you. They must have been a little bit
Yeah, no, he
quicker
just had
first
more
step.
power. He just had more
Oh.
power. That
But
that was the problem.
if you faster, you can outbeat him. Speed
Yeah,
outbeat power.
I was faster, but the only problem was like he was making me run more. The thing with me is I'm supposed to be making him run more.
Well, so you was playing his game.
Yeah, I was basically playing on it was no longer and we it was a home game. I was no longer playing on my turf. This was his turf now.
So he's controlling the game.
Yeah,
You're
I
trying
was
to,
trying my hardest. I'm gonna tell you,
right.
man, I hit a return so goddamn. I'm telling you, well, I was
Mhm,
struggling so hard that
mhm.
I snapped and I was like, I'm done with this. And I hit a return so hard that he barely was even able to get back. I got a free point off of that.
But check this out. You know how many influencers were out there watching, like, wow, I wish I can, play like King Marcus, or I wish I had a power like that guy. You was
Yeah,
influencing him of your speed, and you was like, wow, he got power, so I want to have power too. You know,
yeah.
maybe he in the weight room lifting more, you know what I'm saying? Cause
And
when
that's
in
the
that weight
thing.
room, that's where you
That's the
build the
thing.
power.
That's the thing too. Even your opponents could be your influencers. And not
Yes,
not a lot of
yes.
people know that your
Yeah.
own opponent is
Yeah.
an
I
influence to
just
you.
said it.
Because
Yeah, I
when
just
you,
said it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, because when you see, like, for example, if you're playing basketball and you see somebody shooting three in a way that you've never shot threes before, you're gonna want to be like, oh, I'm gonna try to shoot threes the way that he's shooting, and then you're shooting threes now, and now it's like you're becoming a pro at it because
Right.
you you followed what he did because he influenced his own move onto you.
That
So
could be
when
like
when
such
you're
a crazy technique. I'm like, how'd you do that? How'd you do that fadeaway?
yeah
How'd you do that pump fake mixed with MJ and LeBron with it? How'd you do that?
yeah yeah
How'd you do
right
that? How'd you do that insane dunk? Like, wow,
yeah.
you influenced me. I want to learn how to dunk like you. So how do you build your
Well,
leg,
I'm
your
gonna tell you,
vertical?
you know what's crazy? Well, I saw a boy in college, and he was like 5'8". He barely was even able to touch the rim. I'm telling you, this boy
Uh,
jumped so high. He
mm.
literally was literally higher than the rim. He dunked over the rim, and I said, "What the
He's working
Boy,
them
I'm
leg
telling you,
muscles.
hey,
He's
if
building them legs.
anybody that's short and you think you won't be able to dunk, I'm telling you, just keep jumping. It's gonna happen
Right,
one day. You're gonna
right. You
you're
gotta.
gonna be able to dunk. I'm promising you. You just gotta have
He's doing them
energy.
squats. He's doing them squats. He's doing them leg weights. He's building his leg muscles. He's jumping the rope. He's doing everything he can to get that vertical. He put the weights. You
Yeah,
see him
that's right.
when they put the weights on their legs.
Yeah, yep, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, that's super cool. That's super cool. That builds up your leg muscle so you can have a higher vertical. What's up, Miss Pina? Miss Pina? Miss Pina? How you doing? Welcome to the Shadow Truth Show. Glad you're here. We're talking about influencers. I know you have an influencer you look up to, or you could be influencer to somebody in your family. They're looking up to you. Tell them King Marcus. Tell them King Mark.
Yeah. One thing that is in Proverbs 13:20 is it says that he that walketh with wise men shall be wise, but a companion of fools shall be destroyed. So we talked about um, you know, people that you're playing against that may be an influence to you. That
Right.
not necessarily are trash talkers, but they're
Yeah,
just
yeah.
people who like understand the game and have a higher level of perspective. So,
Right.
and it's the same thing with your teammates too. You know, your
Mhm.
teammate, even your the crazy thing is that your own teammates can be your worst enemies. Your
Mhm.
very own teammates. And
Right. Right. Right.
the thing is, the a lot of coaches expect something to be like a what a teacher says to students in class. They expect each other to be nice to each other. But the world that
Right.
we live in, with the world that we live in, the generation that we are in, that's not going to happen. You know,
Right.
it's never been like that. For for God knows how many years, I have never heard of a classroom that has never had a fight in it. Never had one argument. I
One,
don't think
not
I've
one
ever heard,
single
yeah,
one.
not one single argument. Because that's what anybody who teaches expects. They expect that kind of positive energy. But you
Mm.
know, like I said, the world that we live in, you know, you're not going to see a lot of positive energy in classrooms. The same thing with sports. You're not going to see the kind of positive energy from your teammates. You know, your
Mhm.
own teammates could be trying to drag you down because they're doing something
Drag
better
you
than you,
down.
because they're doing
Right.
something better than you. But you know, at the end of the day, you know, this is the trick. This is the trick to really change your teammate's perspective about you. If you just copy what they do, if you just copy what they do and do it, try
Yeah.
to do it better than them and keep
Mhm.
training, I'm telling you, you're gonna
Mhm.
get better, and then they're gonna look at you differently, and then they're gonna try to be, oh, buddy buddies and all that,
Right.
and then you're gonna look back at them like, nah, my man, I'm good. I'm gonna go win a championship. You can sit on the bench.
Right. And another key thing with being an influencer, you got to deal with self-esteem,
Right. That's right.
self-confidence, feeling of security, identity, sense of belonging,
Yeah, if
feeling of
anybody and
complaints.
and if anybody is playing sports currently that's listening to this episode, I'm gonna tell you, if you have any like yoga coaches, they will tell you the exact same thing. I promise you. You know, I've because I have a yoga, we for football we have our own yoga coach. Um
Mhm.
and no, she's a great yoga coach. That's probably one of the most times I've ever felt peaceful, like during one of her sessions, during her
Right.
sessions when the team is there.
Mhm.
um you know, she talks about self-esteem a lot, and how when
Yes,
anybody
that's
makes
a
a mistake, you
big
know,
part.
when
Yeah.
anybody, you know, makes a mistake, you know, they doubt themselves, and then they just like, oh, I feel stupid for doing this when I
It's
should have
like
been
they
doing
regret,
this.
right? They regret, like,
Yeah,
man,
they
I
feel
wish I
regret.
never
Yeah.
did that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Guilty,
like
like,
I wish I never did that. But the
right.
only thing about that is we don't have any little tiny button that we could just reverse back to the time and do something differently. Like, we gotta just take it and move on.
You got to strike a
That's
balance,
Yeah, exactly. It's the
that it's
same
just
thing,
right for you.
and I'm gonna tell
Hmm.
you guys, it's the same thing with sinning. If you have
Hmm.
sinned before, but you are putting taking all your sins away and putting all your problems towards God and looking towards God, I promise you
Hmm.
that's all gonna be in the past. It'll be like it never existed.
You
It'll
got to
be
have
like
a
you were
balance for
always
God.
Yeah, it would
Yeah.
be like you were always balanced with God. You always had a good relationship with Him, and you always knew Him.
Hmm.
It's the
Hmm.
same thing with that.
Hmm.
It's the
And
same
yeah.
thing with me. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't become a Baptist off of being a good kid. I wasn't. Boy, I'm telling you, I was a petty kid. Boy, I was petty. I was mad petty back in the days. Boy,
Yeah, we
I
all
remember my young
was.
age.
Yeah, we all was.
Yeah, all
Sneaky,
of us were.
petty, and
Yeah,
I was a little rat snitching, back in the day.
yeah. I remember one guy. I remember one of my homeboys, like one of my friends. Think it was my boy Eddie. My best friend from, like, I think kindergarten or whatever. He was about to get in a fight with the one kid, and he was putting his hands
Mhm.
on him. And
Right.
I saw him putting his hands on him, and you know, because of the
Oh,
kind of kid that I was like, you
so
know what,
he
I'm not gonna let this slide. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna get your get back for you. I'm gonna get your lick back. And then, you
so he
know,
was about to give
I
him
did what I
a
did.
Jake Paul, right? He was about to hit him like Jake Paul did
No, I
Tyson.
was, yeah, I hit him like Jake Paul did Tyson, and that boy, I'm telling you, that day was sad. That was a very sad day for all of us.
It's a very sad day. And we all have healthy self-esteems too.
Right?
Avoid
Yeah.
dwelling on past negative experiences. We have
Right.
to express your needs, feel confident in what you're doing, a
That's right.
positive outlook on life, say no when you want to, you know, see all your overall strengths and weaknesses and accept them. We all have a weakness in a sport, in a job, anything we got going on. We have a weakness. We have to work on it so we don't have any, but that's impossible.
Right, exactly. And and one thing about true kingdom influencers is that they are they are breakers of bondage, and their content isn't just motivational, it's liberational, and they provoke repentance. They stir hunger for righteousness and remind you who you are in Christ. And that's only for the true influencers that really look towards Christ and that are really wise. I remember I had a talk about this with Brother Jake, and we were on a Sabbath call, and that's what I was teaching about the study that I did and the discovery I made about God's secret and his secrets. And I remember me saying that I think I said something about you know that um something about true kingdom influencers and
Mm,
breakers of like bondage and stuff. I think that's pretty much what I was saying. Um
mm,
and that only true people will remind you who you are in Christ. And their message is more than words. It's also deliverance too, and many of them you know they're not on your feed. They're prayer in closets, prisons, and hidden pulpits, and they don't go viral, but they go more vertical, if you know what I mean.
right,
That's something that you have to find them, you have to follow them, and you have to learn from them. It's the
right.
same thing with athletes in sports. If you want to do, like, if anybody wants to do what Kobe did, man, and boy, I'm telling you, Kobe was working and training in basketball like it was a 9 to 5 job overnight. Like, there's an actual documentary of him working in the gym late as hell at night, and I'm telling you, it was like what, like three o'clock in the morning, and he was still in the gym. He
Mm,
barely even stopped. He was still in the gym. He trained for like I think like what, how many did they say, like 2 hours, like 2 hours of training, and then he went
mm.
home, went to sleep, got up, he ate, did what he had to do, and then he went back that same day and did it all over again until the next game. Like, I'm
Have you
telling you, and that's
uh,
that's hard to do, especially when people who are like 18 or 17, they're still in school and have jobs.
mhm. have you ever had an athlete that's on your team that had low self esteem? And for
Oh,
example, they may believe that others are better than them, or expressing their needs are difficult,
oh, of course.
or they experience fear, self doubt, and worry. Have you ever had somebody that come up to you as an athlete just talk to you about that? Like, I have low self esteem. I'm thinking others better than me. You know what I'm saying? I may never get to that level where other people at. You feel me? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely did have
And they
I
have
definitely
trouble
have
accepting
people
positive
who
feedback. Like, they don't want to
yeah,
hear positive feedback.
yeah, they always look towards the negative, and then
Yeah,
they always just take the negative stuff and don't even think about the positive. And
right.
it's more of the fact, and it's more of the fact, like, because I'm not perfect myself. You can call me a little lazy too, but you know
We all
it's
are.
that's more for the people who just don't really want to take anything positive. And I I remember I had this one guy come up to me, and I think this was like in seventh or eighth grade. This was a guy that was playing football in the younger leagues, and I knew quite a bit about football, but I always wanted to be a running back, and I saw like some other guy who also wanted to be a running back, and I was passing by a football field where the little leagues were playing, and you know there was this one kid who just looked like he wasn't really having a good day, and his coach, I guess, sat him on the bench, and I guess he told his coach that he was going to grab water or whatever, and he ran into me, and I was like, you know like at the same at one point I was like, you know what, it's not really my business, but at the same time, I was like, I gotta see what's going on, So I went up to this kid and I asked him, I was like, yo, you good, bro? Like, what's going on? And he just said, nah, I'm good. I'm just, having a bad day at practice. And then he was like, well, just let me know. I'm not playing football yet, but I can try to help you out. And he was like, oh, well, I made like three bad plays, and I'm trying to understand the plays, but there's just so many plays to remember. Like I only like he was a running back, and when you're a certain position, you only have to focus on a certain type of plays. You don't really have to focus on all the plays, but just
Uh,
mainly plays for like the position that you're playing.
so
So
was
he
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 intense
was
fear
struggling.
or failure? He
So
having intense fear, right, and failure.
hold on. The one thing
Uh,
about him was he was struggling, and I'm not perfect either. I'm still trying to figure out the place as well. Even though with the school I'm with, because a lot of schools they have different plays. The school I'm with, the plays are pretty slim. The plays are pretty simple, but it's meant to trick the other team. So the one thing about those plays for that school was it was a little tricky to understand. And I just told him like, do you have like anything on the playbook? Do you like have a picture of the playbook or something? And he said no, I don't. And yeah, and I told him I was like, yo, if you try to see if you can get like a picture of the playbook and then try to just understand the plays and learn from them and ask your coaches. Have you been asking your coaches like what the plays are and what they do and what it's meant for? And because if you don't ask them, you're obviously going to be like you're gonna you're gonna struggle. You're gonna struggle on the play if you don't ask what the play is. And even coaches themselves say if you don't understand something, ask. And yeah, I guess the kid was like like nervous to ask because he was like, oh, I don't want my coaches to think that I'm not paying attention, even though I am paying attention. That's another thing about athletes too.
well, maybe he's not understanding the
That
plays. Maybe he learns slower than others. When it
Yeah,
comes to
well,
understanding plays.
another thing about athletes too is they're not willing to admit that they don't understand the plays.
Right.
They act like they understand what they're doing, and then when they
If
mess up
you
a
don't,
play, then the coach is
uh,
like, "Oh, I thought you understood the play. What are you doing? Were you
right.
not paying
If
attention?" Like,
if you don't understand the plays, you're not going to play. You're not
yeah,
going to start. You're not going to get on the
exactly.
court and go score.
That's why you have to ask. That's why you have to ask what the plays are, how the plays work, and how things are gonna go, like what it's gonna look like.
Right.
And if you just ask, literally just ask, they're gonna teach you. You feel me? Like
Right.
I had a you know I had a talk. This was like near the end of spring ball. I went to go have a talk with my coach, and like it was my running back coach, and I
Mm.
asked him. I was like, oh, do you guys have like a playbook like online that I can look at because I'm trying to learn the plays. And he said that he has an app for it, but the coaches had to accept it. But I heard another coach saying that they haven't like posted it online yet. So I was like, all right, that's cool. But I'm trying to learn them by still come when the actual season starts. And I told my coach I was like, I don't want to like mess up or like let the team down or anything. So, if there's any way I can get like just the running back plays, because I know because I'm a specific position, I don't really have to worry about all the plays. Like the wide receiver plays, I don't have to worry about because they're just running routes. Me, same thing with me. I'm running a route, but I'm doing a running route. They're running passing routes. I'm not running
Right. So
passing routes. I'm running running routes because I'm a running back.
so actually, you are the influencer. You trying to get this boy to do the right thing, run the plays
Yeah,
correct. You trying to show him and lead him in the right direction so the coach can see,
yeah,
okay, he get it now. He understands the play. He understands
yeah.
this what what direction he need to run
Yeah.
or route he
So
need to
going so
run.
going back to him, going back
Right.
to him,
Mm.
because that day that they were like running plays or whatever they were doing, I had to go pick up my brother from school. And as I was passing by the second time, I saw that he was like still sitting on the bench, like he wasn't even asking the coaches. It was like he was like scared or something to play football.
That
And
boy ice cold.
I remember he told me he was like, I'm not scared to get hit because obviously it's football. You're gonna get hit. You're gonna get hit
He's
hard.
scared to get hit.
But
He's scared, bro. He's scared.
and honestly, at a young age like that, that's understandable because
Yeah,
it's like if you don't play football, if you don't know the sport, and you know you're gonna
you're
get
gonna
hit,
get hurt.
like
You're gonna
if
get
you
hurt.
hear that you're gonna get hit or you're getting tackled, then you're then you're standing there on the field with your hands up, like what the hell did he just do?
But if you're not in shape, you will get injured very quickly.
Coach, call a violation. He
Yeah.
tackled me.
But but King, look, most important thing about the athlete, you have to be in shape or you can get injured very quickly. Like you
Yeah,
have to
that's
stay
why coaches make
stay
you work out, especially.
yeah.
That's why there's weight rooms and all that, to prepare you for
Hmm.
that kind of stuff.
But most guys, when they're in the sports, they be lazy at it. You seen some athletes they'll do a few reps and then they'll stop and go to something else. You can't just do a few reps on the weights and then jump on something else. You got to stick to that rep until you finish. You can't just hop around the different things. You got to keep a same pattern going on, a consistent pattern. Like it's a never ending thing. For is that. So many athletes, they just skip around and but you have to pace yourself when you're training, and things like
Right.
that.
Yeah, that's right.
And people is gonna watch how you work out, and you influencing them. Man, he's really working hard.
Yeah,
I
a lot
want
of
to.
yeah, that's the problem. A lot of people they try to cheat the system.
I
They,
want to learn how he do his reps and how he make it so easy. You got to pace yourself when you're working out.
yes,
You know,
that too. A lot of people try to rush it. There's nothing to rush.
right,
Take your time.
right,
It's not a
patient,
competition.
right.
A lot of athletes. Like how do you think like people like oh like for example, I'm gonna use a different player. Let's say Stephen Curry
Jalen Green.
for or
I
Jalen Green, right, or any of them.
like Jalen Green. You know what I'm saying?
The way that they have to shoot the ball and the ball has
Yeah,
weight. So
right,
the with that ball having weight, you have to get used to the weight and you have to get because a lot of people, I see them struggle to even shoot the ball because of how heavy the ball is. Like me, I have a basketball and the basketball has quite a bit of weight on it, but
right,
it's really good to shoot.
right,
It's a good basketball to shoot. The only problem is they struggle because the ball's so heavy.
right,
Er, but the ball's only so heavy for them because they don't work out. So
right.
obviously, if you're not working out like how other people are working out, it's gonna feel. It's the same thing with weights. It's the same thing
Yeah,
with weights in the weight room. Like
same thing.
if you're not lifting a certain type of weight and not willing to like
Right,
go past your limit, then you're not
right.
gonna get used to that weight.
You're not.
That's
You're
the
not.
it's the same thing with me, boy. I'm telling you, I used to squat my squat was like 245 or like
Uh,
225 or something. It went up to 265.
hey, look, this is funny. Have you ever, been in the, gym, all the guys in there, and this guy come in, he's looking around like, man, they're gonna pick on me. I'm only lifting 90 pounds. And, he's looking around like, oh my God, they're gonna clown me. My teammates gonna clown me, bro. Like, he's worried
Yeah.
about what he's lifting, but you can't just jump out and lift 250 and all that. You lift, start with 90 pounds,
Yeah,
80
and
pounds,
don't
50 pounds. It doesn't matter.
another
You
thing with the
building
workout,
yourself. Yeah, you build it.
another thing with the workout is don't worry about what other people are lifting or don't worry about what
Exactly.
other people think about what you're lifting. If they say
Right.
even if they say something, it don't matter. Because then
It
they're
don't.
because if they come up to you and they be like, "Oh, why are you lifting this lower of a weight?" It's because you're trying to get your form. It's all
Right. You
the
trying to
weight room is
build.
a journey. That's a journey.
Right. It's a
That's a
journey.
journey that you're either starting or continuing. And
Many
it doesn't
people in
start
the
with
gym
it doesn't
get,
start with strong
yeah.
weight. I'm gonna tell you, like me, my squat, I'm telling you, when I started my journey on squatting, it
Mhm.
it didn't it didn't start with no lightweight. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I started with like
Welcome,
I think
Virgo, to the Shattered
like
Truth podcast. How you doing today,
I
Virgo?
started with like 45 on each side, like a whole plate on each side, and because the first time, and boy, I'm telling you, I was lifting this freshman year. I've had
Right.
other football players come up to me freshman year and tell me I didn't even lift
Right.
this freshman year. I went up and I went up in weight and I still
Right.
lifted that. And like I still squatted that
Uh,
the oh like over like one plate. I still squatted over that freshman year. And then they're looking at me like, wow, that's crazy. And they were, and I'm gonna tell you, the people that were telling me
right.
like what you're lifting is crazy because
Uh,
like I didn't even lift that freshman year. They were higher grades than me,
right.
and then
You
they
just
they were
proved to
just
them that you can lift what they
yeah. And
lift.
I'm gonna tell you
You right.
that was the first time that I actually seriously lifted because I've lifted
Wow.
before, but not like seriously. That was the first time I
Right.
seriously lifted, and I was able to lift that. Even I was impressed. I was able to lift that
Uh,
weight and squat
right.
that weight as well.
Uh-huh.
Like, I'm telling
Exactly.
you, before I'm telling you before I couldn't even bench a whole 45 plate. Now I can bench a whole 45 plate.
I know you felt embarrassed, like, dang, I can't lift this weight. What in the world? I must be the weakest one here.
No, it's not even the fact I wasn't even thinking about that. It was the fact that
uh,
I couldn't do it.
but that's
Like
how
I
some
wasn't
people do, like when they're
yeah,
first time lifting.
I was thinking it's the same thing when I started out with tennis. It was like, wow, I can't like I wanna be able to serve like them or do because the first time I learned my slice was like this year, like the starting of this year when I started out, and this was my second year. I'm going into my third year, and
Mm,
it was actually like the last year was the year where I started tennis, and when I saw how other people served, and I saw how this one guy was a sophomore and he was actually no, I don't even know if he was a sophomore. I think he was like a freshman or whatever. But I saw how he was hitting his forehand. He was hitting his forehand like pretty hard. And then this one
uh,
senior was just playing like he was like a all-star, like he went to the championships or something. And then
yeah.
I'm over here like, boy, what? Like, how do
You
you
like
do that?
what? You shocked, like you was like,
I'm
wow.
I'm over here lobbing everything, and they're over here shooting it like it's bad, like it's baseball or something. They're just going
Right.
back and forth over the net, and I'm like, boy, what the hell?
Yo, that's funny, bro. That's funny. I can
Yeah,
imagine
bro.
the look on their face, like they had this stone shot look like, what?
Here's one thing that I'm gonna say for people who want to be an athlete or people who already are athletes but haven't made it yet. One
Right.
thing that I'm gonna say is for let's take basketball for example. I remember my yoga teacher or our yoga coach for football. I remember her saying something like, there were people who were struggling to shoot like balls into the basket, like basketballs into the basket. And the one thing that they did, the one thing that she did in one of their sessions it was she had them um picturing in their minds, like closing their eyes and meditating, and she had them picture shooting a basketball into a basket, and she had them picturing them just shooting that the same basketball into the basket as many times as they want. And then she challenged that. She basically split the team up. So it was one team inside visualizing them making shots,
Yeah.
and she had another team on the court actually
Uh-huh.
making the shots.
Right. Hey,
So
guess who's here, bro? Facts.
so
We ain't talked to
what's
Facts in
good
a
facts?
minute. Facts. What's up, bro?
Yo, what's good
Facts.
facts, Porcupine?
Porcupine. What's good? Facts. Calling me here, man. He always welcome to talk on the mic, man. What's up,
How you
Facts?
guys doing?
What's up, brother?
Man, you welcome anytime, bro. When I see you, bro, hey, must respect the facts. Shout out to Facts Porcupine, bro. Where
How
have
you
you
guys?
been, my man? How's everything? How's life treating you, bro?
Oh man, crazy stuff. Well, I ran for public office in New York, so I
Oh,
didn't.
that's what's up. Did you win? Did you get it?
Nah. I took 21%. It was a wave of socialist movement, so
Man, you
go at
know they
that.
don't want to send that like that. You know they don't
Yeah.
want to send that like that, Mark.
So,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, did
They
my
don't want to send that. They don't want it to change, bro. If they get one brother that is gonna make a change, they will be like all the pieces, bro.
yeah. So how you guys been? How
Yeah,
you guys are from Jersey, you know? Did I have it right before?
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
So you guys are still doing your thing. That's nice to see.
Yeah, man, we holding it down. We got 75 episodes. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yes, sir, man. It feels good, man. Just
for sure.
bring this true content out here, man. And
Mm-hmm.
man, you know a whole lot about influencers, man. What you think about influencers, man? What you
I think
think?
some of them are worth nothing.
Right.
Yeah, exactly,
What's an
Right.
exactly.
influencer to influence your dumb ass to go do something that you would normally not do? Like the new thing.
uh,
Piercing your goddamn face is a big thing
uh,
now. You see this craziness? I don't know why
yeah.
people follow that.
Yeah, right.
I got all my
It's
nieces
like
on.
people think they take one day to practice in basketball and think they're automatically Kobe Bryant.
Right,
Well, I mean,
right. Or
that's all
LeBron
good
or something.
intentions, you know. I mean, anytime somebody thinks, well, if you're scoring, you can think that any way you want, as long as you're scoring and winning. But other than that,
Right,
Right.
it's a good benchmark to try to get better, I would
right.
imagine.
If you're not scoring,
Yeah, that's
you're not
right.
doing anything. You're not influencing nothing.
That's right.
But that influence question, it's almost like going on the internet and looking at an article and clicking it on, and the article title is not what you click on. And some shit got to be done about that. And dumb finding people, it's crazy. I mean, how? I don't know. I guess, I mean, you're going to see people that are travel up based on their own lack of certain things they have. From this is just my look at it. And then I seen a beautiful girl with a guy, and he looks like he's on the verge of start piercing up his face. All his bullshit. And I'm like, yo, this girl is fine as hell. And
Mm,
I hate dumbass people because I'm not the smartest guy in the world, so I look for people to be dumb. But this
right.
influencer stuff, running like doing TikToks, calling up people, it's a lot of going on. And as all of that's going on, and the protesting and the influences, like you see the guys that they're gonna go do something, but now they're getting locked up in certain states. They're not playing these jokes no more. It seems like, so you gotta be
Right.
careful what you follow.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, that's right.
I
100%.
agree. Yeah, you got to be careful, man. Like, it's so much stuff going on right now. You just got to be on your p's and q's.
Yeah. Influence me to make some damn money. Tell everybody how to make money.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yes.
that part.
That's what we need in this world. That's exactly what we need.
Are you still
Yes, sir.
now? Your show, you two gentlemen are still rocking and rolling. It looks like, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We got more hosts, man. Yeah, we got what, 7 hosts now?
Nah, I
Okay.
think I think right now we have four mainly. We have mainly four, but uh
We
the
got 2 more.
the other two they're just like I think we call them like special guests.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they come on sometimes.
that's good.
yeah, yeah.
It works. Well, I mean, I was hitting it hard, and I got a press pass. There's a lot, but when from February to now, I was just and then my brother died. I just buried him yesterday, so I just like
Sorry
I'm
to hear
just
about that, bro.
yeah, shit happens,
Yeah.
Um, so I started listening to people because after talking to 20,000 blacks, whites, queer, gays, you name it, I'm fucking
Right.
tired of hearing everybody. So I did a lot of talking to win, try to try to beat the seat. There's a lot of people with a lot of things on their mind. The rents. They don't want no more rent stabilization in New York. It's crazy. And there's you got to come across something good in this. I think I told you guys a while back. Put out something you can stand by that will build you, and because people get on and they talk a lot of shit, and there's a lot of people that listen to it. So you want to have content that matters. You want to look in the archives one day and say, that episode was really good because we talked the walk, we talked the talk and walked it, and that's the key. And I mean, yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there to talk about, like and Trump. You mentioned Trump, you got a good show.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
mentioned
that's right.
Trump on a few
That's right.
episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned.
You know,
Yes, sirs.
That's
But man, like I said, man, influence some money. There you go. I'm with you. Influence
what
us some
person
money.
out there? Well, okay,
And see,
well,
you was running public office, right? So you trying to be a positive influence to the people.
we have a dignity issue in my perspective in some of the Democratic states with blacks, and
Hmm.
a lot of the what's going on will take away your quality of life. And after seeing somebody, peddling the drugs or somebody being doped up, you go to the children's playground, you got fucking guys nodding out. That ain't. I don't care what color you are. You got to get out. And
Mhm.
it's just, I think society will not give us our props, even though we'll take it, and you'll get the ball players and the football players until we really show them. Like, we need a national, worldwide, like what's going on in Africa with Torre. You know, they,
Mhm.
they took 74 tons of gold out of these countries, and the people are poor, but they don't want it no more. And if they start to pull them and get it to go get it, everybody across the world, dark skinned men and women, go ahead. We got to do good. Not to say that people are not doing good, but it's not enough. To destroy a lot of shit. But I think that's what's holding us back. I don't care. We can have all the scholars and talk about our plight. Give me a playbook to get out of that. And that's school. That's working together. And it is happening, but it ain't happening quick enough. And it is detrimental. And I don't know if you for the immigration because, I mean, I don't know. These are tough matters. I just think it's the survival of the race. And it may not be, you going in, you protesting for this guy who they sent back to El Salvador, but your ass ain't come miraculous, so you ain't going to these prisons and protesting for these guys, and then we want all that to stop. So it's tough. You gotta
Yeah, it is tough.
protect your kids and watch out for these influencers.
Hmm. All of them is not good.
Let me ask you, what was the last thing that influenced you that you did that you like, shit, why did I do that?
Right. Yeah. We
Yeah,
all
right.
have that.
Yeah, that's right.
Why did I do that? Like, why? That's dumb.
I don't trust people, so I don't think I'm gonna be running and trying shit. Oh,
Right.
and then walking down the block and getting kidnapped and they steal your body organs. There was a woman and a child that they did that shit to. So
And
there's
they make what, $100,000 off the body parts, $1 million, something like
kill
that.
them and then kill them and take your damn organs. This is
It's
madness.
big money.
It may be big money, but that shit is crazy.
It is crazy. It's insane.
Yeah, right.
Or burning somebody on the New
Wicked.
York City subway. Fuck
Right.
out of
It's wicked. Very
here.
wicked.
Yeah. Well, keep doing what you're doing. I was just chilling. I got a lot of pressure on me, so I have some bomb busting stuff. And I podcast talking to people, so
Right.
I got to really listen to some of it because it was rough. It's like
Oh yeah.
people are not happy, and
They're
it's
not.
about
People looking for a peace of mind and look for somebody to listen to and try to help them along the way.
yep, or just straight up honesty.
Yeah, honest. Be honorable,
Yeah,
ladies and gentlemen.
you think
Hmm.
Puffy's going to jail?
Man, I mean, they can give them a few charges, but you can't just the people agreed to go there. You can't charge them for that. Um, you probably
Right.
can charge them from hitting that woman, yeah, but you can't really get them for everything. Like, okay, all the celebrities been doing that. Everybody's been doing that. You know,
Well, once you go once to a party,
yeah,
you already know
anything
what's going
goes.
down. So if your ass continue to go on,
That's your choice,
but the only thing I don't like is spiking drinks. I never liked the
right?
guy to try to get in a woman's pants by just getting her intoxicated.
Right. You don't have
I'm
no
not.
real game then. You trying
I'm
to
not for that
intoxicate to
kind
get
of.
in there.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm not for that kind of shit.
Right. Now you can charge them for that. You can charge them for, the other things, the trafficking, but the trafficking is a
Mm.
big business and there's people who's getting away with it is in a suit,
So
you know?
they're saying that at these parties and these photo shoots, you
Right.
go if they have it in Miami, you live in New York, and you're
Mhm.
underage. That's trafficking. But the other thing too, they're all dumbasses for being in this position. That's the first thing.
Right. Right.
Um, it ain't easy, and you gotta really make sure these girls are of age, and they shouldn't be available for these for these particular type of situations anyway. If their
Right.
parents was on their ass, and
And social media is a big influence of these women to make themselves look older and what they are. They can take a daggone AI and make them look 2 times better and make their body more bigger, and fatter. And then you see them in person, like, dang, is that you in the picture? You had a nice body, but now you flat. So what's going on? Oh, I uploaded the picture and I done some editing and make my body look different in the picture. I was
Yeah,
like, what?
you know a lot of girls gonna be like, oh, I've been in the gym lately. I've been in the gym and just working out
Yes.
myself.
As soon as you see him in the street, you like, whoa, look like a gremlin.
You was not who you said you was.
Right. Exactly.
yeah, but
Facts.
once they're in front of you, you should know already.
Yeah.
So there's no excuse for that shit, you know. And all the money they got, and what about Shannon Sharp?
Oh yeah, he was messing with the white girl, right? Was it the white lady, the Caucasian woman?
Yeah, he
Oh
always got
man.
$100 million. They wanted him anyway, but this is. I mean, I think he's still rolling along, but I felt kind of like, damn, they ain't really nobody you can really follow through and look up. And then they got some pastor, or some shit where it's just madness. You influencing somebody to do what? That's just you.
Right.
You don't get a pass.
Right.
You don't get a pass, especially when you're rich. You got money.
And then they took down the Black History stuff. They took down Martin Luther King stuff. You know about that? That's crazy. You
When they
know?
take it down out of the White House.
Yeah. I think that was wrong.
Well, I mean, those are busts and things that were there. I mean, whatever president wanted to have that type of symbolized um, statues there or busts. You got Trump, man. Trump wants to wipe everything out. That he
Yeah.
wants to make sure when he leaves, the United States will be um, everything he's done. That's just
Mhm.
what people like him do. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know how much of a racist thing. I don't think he's got a Klan bus in the damn place where they're removing King. I mean,
Right.
then you'd have something to talk about. I
Yeah.
mean, that's just realigning and redecorating the goddamn. He's making. He got. They listen. People are so still bent all shape on this guy. This man fucking told them a year before the election what he was going to do. That's what I'm just real baffled about this whole shit.
Mm.
You knew what you were going to get, and maybe there'll be some glory times, but it looks like to me that they're cleaning everything out. I mean, I think him and the Musk thing is just all made up and shit. But if he did this,
Mhm.
find out all this wasteful spending, like you're going to tell me the Treasury is giving out money and they can't track it, shit like that. So this guy is going to clean everything out. He can't stand Obama. They made a fool out of him before he ran the first time, and now he won again. What the hell you want? Take back the big part of
Yeah. That's funny.
would you do
You
that?
right.
I mean, you took the motherfucker to court. You shot at him. You tried to kill him. You were actually, what the hell? Unless all that's a hoax.
Right.
Yeah, right.
I mean, then you got another country threatening to kill his ass, right? Right? I think the
Yeah.
Iran. Did they say they were going to kill
Right.
him or some bullshit?
Right. What, assassination number 2 attempt?
Whatever the fuck they got, whatever they said. Now
Right.
look at the African president. How many 19? They got 21 assassination attempts on this guy. They offered somebody $40 million or some shit to kill the man.
And they still can't touch him.
And you think, and now he ain't Trump, but look what Trump did. Okay, they were going to get Iran anyway because they just
Hmm.
didn't have the bombs to get through that damn terrain. But they perfected a bomb and he dropped it on their asses. You, what was the last? What happened to the last person that threatened the U.S. president? That was
That
Republican.
was, yeah. Yep. Yep.
What happened?
Yeah.
What can you do? What happened? Wasn't that with Bush's father or some shit?
Yeah, with Bush's father. Yeah, George Bush Senior. Yeah, Bush Senior.
And I think they threatened him, right, to kill his
Yeah,
ass.
yeah, they did.
And the script went the same.
Uh huh. So it's a pattern.
I don't know if there was a Democratic president threatened,
No, it wasn't. I haven't heard one. Mm-mm.
and he told them what the hell was going to happen. He did it. I mean, so are you guys happy with the your black brothers, right? You know,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Browns, Melon, Melon and Kings and all that. So
yeah.
what you are you for all this mall? You know, you go to the shopping mall, and then next thing you know, I'm not singling it out, but I'm just talking about people that look like me because every time I walk by somebody, they're like, just fucking ass. You know, like I didn't do shit to them, but other folks, they associate you with. So you happy with everything that you're seeing going on with your generation and going out protesting and tearing up shit
I
because of the
think the
white man and
generation
all
is
that?
terrible.
It's
I
crazy.
Yeah.
think it's
Generation
terrible.
is
It's
bad.
bad.
Very bad.
It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to me. It's embarrassing me. I don't even want to be around it. Like separate myself from it. And they don't think. All they do is react, 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 react. They don't think about nothing. What they doing? They don't think about the consequences or the reaction. All they do is react, react, react. They so trigger happy. They get mad fast, and then when the storm's over, they realize what they did. They gonna want to go crying to begging the mommy and daddy, and I didn't mean to do it. It's too late. The damage is done. Like the generation is so poison. It's toxic, man. The communities are horrible.
They need to
It's
stop following fucking people because this new Pearson,
right.
I've never seen black people behave like this. You know what I mean?
Me either. It's
Yeah, that's
ridiculous.
right.
I mean, I just don't get it. And, I'm trying to keep my son away from this. And even like
Yeah.
my brother's funeral yesterday,
Mhm.
I talked, I recorded it. I talked about the rock, the pebbles falling off the rock, which is the foundation, your mother, your father, your
Mhm.
grandparents. And everybody's gonna have their own. I mean, fucking death ain't no joke, man. I hope you know that, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
it's not a joke.
Yeah.
It's serious
Not.
business.
this boy, I learned so much about my young brother. I mean, I blame myself because I left early out the house, but he was going to be a rapper, DJ, and he did a lot of shit. He had some small, challenging, chemical imbalance in respect to, you know, his normal way of seeing things. But sometimes people that have problems are the fucking geniuses. And he wrote a little
Hmm.
book, and I was just telling everybody, like, when these pebbles fall, we got to find a way to catch them. And I had a camera on, I'm watching him, and I was campaigning, and I took it for granted that finally I don't have to go and worry about where this boy is. I got a camera on his ass. He's good. He got money. You know, most people want to stay in their home, their apartment, do what they do, make them happy. You can't say shit to anybody and then go out and kill anybody or rob the bank or rob somebody. So you don't prejudge them. If you're fortunate enough to be fully engaged with what's happening, then you're good. But all in all, um, we ain't they're picking away at our at everything, and then to say, oh, they're doing this, they're doing that, then you know what? Then we got to do this because if they're doing this and they're doing that, and as we age out and get older, some family names can die off. You can literally not have no children, and fuck, boy, you know it. There's no legacy left.
Hmm.
Some people are having one
That's right.
child. So your legacy, well, we got white folks, Mexicans, you see what they doing. They fucking pumping babies like crazy. And
Hmm.
our black asses is killing each other.
Yes, you see that, right? It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Okay? I don't want to, and then you got people coming home from prison. I met a guy the other day. He did 37 years, man. I've been meeting a lot of guys. I did 600 shows or more. I don't know how much I did. I'm 1,000. I was just, it's adrenaline sometimes. I had a lot of shit going on with me. And I was just
Mm.
pumping it. I was trying, once I get to level 4, I'm going to stop. Now I'm going to this kind of that. But no, to somewhat what I'm trying to get at is, you gotta make this shit work for you. You can't be stalling. I mean money, you can have all the money in the world and die. But far as doing let the world know your name. I went on a guy's podcast. I hit his profile because I wanted to make sure if I bring somebody up, they're not gonna sound crazy. And he said, let the world know your name, and it's so important to still work at pick away at making the world better, no matter whether he's a hater, racist, black, white, whatever. Um, it's a gift to be alive. Fuck that. But you
Mhm.
gotta stay focused. And now watch out what you drink from somebody, what you eat. It's fucking crazy. Maybe I'm overthinking, but I know one damn thing. I don't want nobody to take me out or be
No,
in.
you're not overthinking. No, you that's discernment.
You can't
You
even go to
wide
a
awake.
fucking event. You can't even go to an event without something going the fuck on. This guy,
Right.
he's a Republican. He backed Trump. He's got his show. He's an ex-police officer. Y'all probably ran across him on YouTube. I don't know.
Mm.
He said every time there's an event and there's black people gathering, there's gonna be some shit. Like the cruise ship, whatever. There was a fight on a cruise ship coming off, and luggage being thrown around and all this. I mean, if you were coming from another culture, you wouldn't want to be around that shit. And we don't even want to be around it. So something's got to change because they're gonna turn it into a police. They're gonna, Trump ain't there for just other shit. They want stability. And I don't think he's the only one that's everything they say about him. It's a whole lot of other motherfuckers. They're just under the radar and they didn't run for president. You got police that look like you and I that are worse than the ones that we complain about. So it's gonna be a challenge to see how life is. The cuts for education. I just got off it was a Zoom meeting. I have so much shit to worry about on my own, but I wanted to listen to it. ELA is a language teaching curriculum. And my son was given an ELA class that at the school I just got him out of. I'm like, what does it mean? Does it mean that he don't speak English? Is it a mandated curricula that everybody's got to take it? So they're cutting back that kind of funding. Well, from what they're saying, I think he's cutting back on all this shit. He's trying to force this guy to drop the interest rate because they're saying the inflation is good. And I would be wondering if they slowing this cat down so he's gonna make him look good or whatever. And then, but the people suffer, and the ones that can afford to do that are pretty much doing well for themselves. And then the COVID report came back on the deaths. 74% of the deaths they claim was caused by the vaccine, and then most of the people that was mandating what was taking place have dual citizenship from the U.S. to Israel. So, yeah, it is so much to pay attention to and to stay focused on. That's what I'm thinking. Anyway, that's my take on a few things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's dope. Well said.
Yeah.
Well said. Facts. Well
Excellent.
said. Yeah, that was excellent. Brilliant. Anything else before we end this show, Marcus?
Um, Me, no, that's all I got for now. I do have a couple things for um part two on what I was talking about earlier, if you're willing to do a part two.
Yeah, we
Um
can do definitely a part two. Yeah, facts. You welcome back to the next episode, part two, if you find time to make it.
When you
Appreciate
coming
it.
on? When you coming back on?
We're probably on Wednesday.
Oh, next week.
Wednesday.
All right,
Wednesday
I'll
night.
look for you. I'll look for you if I can catch on.
Okay,
mhm.
cool, cool.
Because
We
I've been
probably
taking
start
a
like
break.
that.
Yeah, I've been ready. But it's great that you guys are continuing. That's so good. You're level 2 now. You're climbing the charts, bro. Don't need a lot of shows to make an impact. Need the right
You
one
don't.
and the message.
Yeah, right. You don't.
That's right.
The message and the creed.
Y'all work good together, man. Y'all should, y'all, keep doing it.
Yeah, we study growing, man. We rising up. We moving up there.
You're doing really
Yeah.
good. Congratulations. All right.
Appreciate it. Man.
Thank you, Black man.
Appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you on the show, and you welcome anytime. And you've been gone for a while. I was wondering what happened to you. You
Yeah,
know.
well, I don't know what I've just been, and I mean, it's likewise to you guys. If y'all want to come on, and I got, because you if you see me out there, you come on, and I'll let y'all pump your stuff out. Because I think when guys like us start to hit it,
Mhm.
because everybody's got their own little community. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you go anywhere, you putz around, stay long enough to give a heart. You know what I mean? Hit the damn thing one time. So they really have a good community. I don't I don't have chats. Like the whole panel. Some people these people build these rapports up for many years. And me, I'm just
Right.
a free reeler. I mean, I'm independent just like y'all. Nobody. I'm not under another umbrella
Right.
where that
Hmm.
you have to support one show because they support your show, and then it messes up your fucking whole timing and your scheduling. Like now, I have some bombshells, but I said let me just scoot around a little bit, and then I just said, oh shit, let me hit this one. Here you go, Marcus. As soon as I heard your voice, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And then and then people will drive towards you. But this, don't even worry about it. Keep going, steady as you
That's
go.
right.
Yes, sir.
Like you say, you gotta have that tunnel vision. This stay going the course, stay the course, stay focused.
Yeah. And then I got a lot of things that I'm doing. So you'll see. All right. Well, stay well. I'll talk to y'all soon. I'm gonna log out, all right?
All right, appreciate you.
All right.
Appreciate
Shalom,
you
brother.
having me. Shalom,
Congratulations.
brother.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you too. Mhm. Okay, Marcus.
Yes, sir.
This was pretty good, man.
Yeah, this is a great
Facts
show.
Facts came through, man. That's what's up. That's what's up, man. Showing love. Shout out to Facts Porcupine Podcast once again. Shout out to
Hey,
everybody out there
hey, one more
that's
thing, one
listening.
one more thing before we end. Just remember
One
your
more thing.
boy going live
There you
tomorrow.
go. That's right. Check them
The
out.
very first
Golden
very
Kingdom.
first teaching. Hey, I might have brother Tim and brother Jake on the teaching. I'm gonna let them know. I just gotta get their emails. If you could send me your email, I could send you an invite. Uh,
All right.
and
I
then
got you.
we
Shout out
could
to
we could get it popping. We could start Golden Kingdom. Going
yes,
live
sir.
tomorrow. Uh, I'm thinking maybe at 4:30.
All right, that'll work.
Yeah,
I
4:30
don't know
p.m.
about the other guys. I don't know about them because I don't know
Well,
about
I'll get into contact with them and I'll let them know. See if they are free for that time.
because their time's kind of iffy. You know how they is. They
Yeah,
could be our time. We
yeah,
good. We can go in anytime.
yeah. Good. I know Tim's going through a lot right now.
Yeah, he is. He is. He is. He is. He's one of our hosts, and we'll pray for him and make sure everything's good over there. Check on him and all that good stuff, man. And yeah,
Yeah.
shout out to King Marcus, man, and Fax Porcupine once again. This is your host, Shout of Truth, co-host King Marcus, and your
Yes, sir.
co-host Fax Porcupine. Y'all have a blessed day. We out.
Shalom, brothers.
Shalom.